I'm sure you're wondering, much like I am, why the CDC would let barbershops and hairstylists reopen after the pandemic started, especially when it requires that all public interaction maintain 6 feet of social distance.
Thanks to Rache and his realty company, there are plenty of houses right here in the heart of Columbia for dogs to run around and have plenty of opportunities to have some fun.
Now, even though the athletic department has been experiencing a lot of hardships during COVID-19, the Gamecock Club and season ticket holders are doing their part to turn a negative into a positive. This shoe, which is a collaboration with a brand called Off-White and is inspired by the Michigan Wolverine basketball team, it resells for about $520. As mentioned in the interview, social media is a driving factor to people falling victim of Secret Sister during the holiday season. Now, even though the MPHC is allowing a lot of these fraternities and sororities to compete with no more than 5 people, some of the sororities aren't even able to compete at all. While the Orchard departments declined to give me any information or commentary on the events that took place Saturday, I was able to speak with Chief Aubrey Jenkins here at the Columbia Fire Department.
Boss, how you doing?
Yes, sir. I got one here for you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you.
COVID-19 left non-essential businesses like barbershops struggling to stay afloat.
Yes, that first month people were afraid. People were like, oh man, I ain't coming out to the barbershop. I'm gonna get COVID-19 if I go to the barbershop.
But yeah, it was hard on everyone. You go from making money to making no money.
I've never experienced anything remotely close to this pandemic that's going on right now.
And for barbers like Jabbar Carmack, who just opened his barbershop a few months prior to the shutdown, it lit a fire inside of him.
Not panic, but not knowing what was going to happen. My mindset went into hustle mode, grind mode. Like, what do I have to do in order to keep my brand up and running, so when the smoke clears and everything opens back up, I'm still in operation.
Now, I'm sure you're wondering, much like I am, why the CDC would let barbershops and hairstylists reopen after the pandemic started, especially when it requires that all public interaction maintain 6 feet of social distance.
The CDC's guidelines are pretty similar for barbershops and beauty salons to most other non-essential businesses. But this wasn't enough for Jabbar. He even got additional sanitation training.
I personally took a sanitation course online, a barbicide course online, which was a 2-hour course. Taught you how to clean your tools after every client. You had to sanitize them. First you clean them with soap and water, and then you sterilize and sanitize them for 10 minutes. This is my fogger. I spray everything from my chairs to towels to anything that I have in here, and it fogs this whole area.
That being said, barbers and customers alike understand that when you come to the barbershop, you get more than just a haircut.
It's more than a haircut, you know. There's a holistic approach. You know, having that person you can come in and speak with, it's gonna be non-judgmental. At the same time, you will walk out feeling better because you look better.
The barbershops are needed. Salons are needed, nail salons, because people go there, man, just to get a stress relief.
A pandemic-surviving stress reliever from a non-essential business that many would argue is essential. Deric Rush, Carolina News. Homecoming is usually filled with Greek fraternity and sorority floats and fun. But the floats are at a standstill now. So how are these organizations going to make sure they keep the fun? For Black Greek letter organizations, strolling is a staple in their history. National Pan-Hellenic Council, or NPHC, usually has a stroll-off or step show of some kind every year. They are having one this year on next weekend, but with COVID putting a damper on many other aspects of Greek interaction, NPHC President Joseph Boyd says this year has been a bit challenging.
Yeah. Oh, man. Where can we start? Definitely, a lot of my organizations have definitely felt like it was a little rushed because we've had a lot of changes happen with, like, university guidelines and organization national guidelines.
Now, even though the NPHC is allowing a lot of these fraternities and sororities to compete with no more than 5 people, some of the sororities aren't even able to compete at all.
Grace Badaki told me her sorority had to pull out of the show.
Well, my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, we cannot host any in-person events or participate in any in-person events. So if we did participate in the show-off, it would be something completely virtual, and we would have to submit a video where each performer was performing in an individual shot.
Despite these challenges, Joseph says the show must go on.
It holds a really big part of our culture, and so I think in the time of Corona, it's something that we wanted to keep normal, you know.
For Carolina News, I'm Deric Rush. Tyler Brown loves sneakers, specifically SB Dunks.
I just picked up these, the plums. These about to be my new go-tos, wear it with everything.
The shoes that he has loved for so long have now become one of the cash cows of the sneaker buy, sell, and trade industry. The Nike SB Dunk is a popular skateboarding shoe, a shoe that David Toole has had in his skate shop since it opened in Columbia.
I think Nike SB launched in like 2002. You know, we started skating in Jordan 1s, and then Nike, on a second or third attempt to get into skateboarding, launched the Dunk in limited amounts at select stores.
But sneaker experts like Josh Kilgore and Joe Scarlett from Cola Kicks say that reselling is what's driving the craze.
Yeah, so every shoe, when they come out, they have a certain retail price. So once they sell out, you can't just go buy more from a retailer like a Foot Locker or something like that. So the demand drives the price up. You know, you have a lot of people looking for a small amount of shoes. So that's why when you see any shoe that goes for anything over a couple $100s, you know, that's that resale price.
This shoe, which is a collaboration with a brand called Off-White and is inspired by the Michigan Wolverine basketball team, it resells for about 520 bucks. But this is one that's actually on the low end.
And there are tons of different designs.
What the Dunks?
Had the Carhartt Dunks and the Hunters, of course.
Strange Loves, Tiffany's, both pairs.
The Dinosaur Jr.
Cherries.
One of the collaborations with Ben & Jerry's called the Chunky Dunky sold for retail around $120. But now,
going for like $1,400, bro. I can't do it.
limited quality and celebrities are the biggest contributors to the spike in prices.
Nike does their collaborations with athletes and, you know, musicians, stuff like that.
And even though Tyler could make a lot of money off of his collection,
I won it off a raffle. These will never get sold.
he still chooses to hang on to his shoes for the love of the culture. For Carolina News, I'm Deric Rush.